I joined General Synod after realising that in kind of the leadership structures of the church there wasn't that much representation of young people. I'd encouraged lots of young people to be speaking up, speaking to their vicars and church leaders about the church and about their opinions, and I thought I should put my money where my mouth was and stand for General Synod so that I could be a voice for young people in this place.
I thought that I had something to offer the church in that I was speaking from an experience that was different to most of the people that I'd seen on Synod. What it feels like to be a first generation convert and what that means on an individual level, but what that also means for the church and how we undertake mission and evangelism.
Well, I stood primarily on the women bishops issue. I felt it was important to have a voice in that particular debate, very close to my heart, and in fact I felt that I wanted to be there when the Church of England made history.
I'd grown up believing that if you want to make things different, you can't stand in the changing rooms. You've got to be on the pitch. And so, you know, it was an opportunity to be on the pitch and to bring a sort of a lay voice. I know Synod's full of lay people, but a lay voice that isn't a reader, that was young then. Obviously I'm not now, a voice that was not somebody whose whole history was white Anglo-Saxon, because my whole family history isn't, and to just bring myself, really. Obviously
there's been some fantastic debates, really interesting times, really difficult times as well, but I think one of the biggest highlights is the opportunity to meet fantastic people kind of in the fringes of the debates, to talk about people with some of the big issues facing the Church of England today.
We were all born, and when we were all born as lay people, and then some of us have been called to be deacons or clergy or bishops. Not all of us are called to be that, and so it's important for me that we get the voice of all, young and old, difference in whatever shape or size it takes, so that we know how we can live together in and amongst ourselves, as well as with the other that's on the outside.
Be prepared to be surprised. You will be putting yourself in a place where you can take ideas back into your local community. Often I go back and say, oh, somebody was telling me they do this, somebody was telling me they do that. Not necessarily in the debates, in discussion over meals and York, in the coffee room, but it has enriched how I see the Church of England and the Anglican Communion. We have to get away from feeling that we are somehow special. We're not. We're part of something that is global. And so it's broadened my whole view of what the church is, not just the Church of England. And in a sense, given me lots and lots of feeding of all sorts of things I would never have thought of before, as well as the opportunity to sometimes send hard messages to government and to help the church to become more what I think God wants the church to be.
I would say that it's really important to engage with what the Church of England, its mission in this country, and engaged in the decisions, and not to be put off by what might seem to some people as to being a bit stuffy. It isn't. It's just ordinary people coming together in fellowship with the love of the Church of England at heart and the mission to this country that our church can provide. And it's vital to be engaged with those decisions and those discussions, and take it back to the diocese and have discussions back in the parishes. The parishes and the diocese aren't divorced from this process, and I feel that I very much engage at the local level.
It may feel daunting, but be excited by the possibility. Think through carefully what you're going to be asked to do, and recognise that you will have the chance for great nutritious enjoyment. That's to say, enjoyment of your fellow person, but the stimulation of great quality debates, and that wonderful satisfaction when you know that something you have done has made a real difference.
I think it's really important that we have as many voices as possible from as many different areas in the church as possible, so that as we're discussing different matters we can get opinions from all of the different areas and come to an agreement on kind of the best solutions to some of the issues that we're facing. It's been a really rewarding time on Synod, and it's been fantastic just to be at the heart of all of the decision making that's going on, and so I would thoroughly encourage people to consider standing. We need their voice here, and we'd really benefit from their involvement.
Do it. It's a bit of a roller coaster at times. Sometimes you feel completely out your depth. I don't understand this, that and the other. And other times it just clicks. You have what I call a God moment, and in the middle of a debate suddenly it all comes together and you're aware of your part that you play in that plan that God has. To say I was scared would have been an understatement when I first arrived. I can't do this, it's not me. But I had a couple of people at the time that from my own diocese that had experienced it themselves, because they'd only just done one term and this was going to be their second term, that helped me and held my hand initially till I felt free to stand on my own. And I think for me, I'd encourage more lay people that live ordinary lives, that work in ordinary jobs, to commit themselves to being part of this ordinary yet extraordinary church.
Well, I think we're saying really awful things about God if we think that God is narrow and that I am what is a reflection of God. That's really awful. God's way more colourful and loud and exuberant and rich and varied than that. And if God isn't all those things, then that doesn't say a lot for how we as human beings reflect what we see in creation more widely. I mean, no other area of creation is boring and limited. So it'd be really sad if the crowning bit of creation was boring and limited, wouldn't it?